The next step in our Sgraffito bowl is the Sgraffito part. Sgraffito meaning to scratch. So we have your underglaze bowl, 3 layers, and it's time to start scratching away at it to reveal the white underneath. The basic tools that we're going to be using for this are the needle tool, just like we used to cut out the bowl, and some of these loop tools. Some of them are rounder, some of them are triangular, square shaped. We're also going to be using a very soft, dry watercolor brush, and we're going to use some of these old used bowls as garbages. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, if you want to, is to take a pencil and draw out your design. That is often a good idea if you're unsure of what you're going to do. You just draw lightly, and then that's where you're going to scratch away. To save time, I'm just going to draw directly with my tools. You might notice, and I definitely have this, that the edges might not be the neatest depending on how carefully you were glazing. So I'm going to use one of these tools. I'll just use the square one. I'm going to kind of work a little bit over the bowl. Any dust that I make, I want to end up in the garbage in the bowl. Okay, so I'm going to very lightly scratch the black away. I'm not trying to really scratch deeply. I'm just taking the very top layer away. Now, some of the dust just falls directly into the garbage, but some of it might remain. You do not want to blow the dust away, okay? Because then it'll get into the air and we'll all be breathing it in. We don't want that. So that's why we have the soft brushes. You just very carefully brush the dust into the garbage and keep going. Okay, so I would continue that all the way around to make a nice edge. For my actual design, the design that I have in mind, I want to start with a circle. So rather than just freehanding a messy circle, I'm going to trace something circular. So I'm going to place this in the center, and I'm going to use my needle tool. I'm going to draw very lightly and very carefully. And as you can see, I scratched away the top layer. And again, as soon as I have the dust, into the garbage bowl it goes. Now because I was tracing it, it didn't trace fully, so I'm going to just make it a little bit neater. Now I don't want to go too deep. When I feel this with my finger, I don't really feel a big divot. You don't want to press so hard that you have super bumpy areas. It's just lightly scratching off the black underglaze. You don't really want to scratch too much of the white clay away. Okay, and from there, now, just like with the earlier steps, this bowl is still fragile. So if you put it at a weird angle or you lean on it in a weird way, it can definitely break. If you scratch too heavy and put too much pressure, it could break. So you need to be very gentle and very careful with it. And every so often, dust. You might notice the black gets a little bit gray from the dust. That's okay. It will turn more vivid black later on. So I've been continuing my design, and as I go, just working carefully. You might like the look of just white lines and a black background, or you might want a little bit more white to show up. That's when we use these tools, and you just scratch away larger areas very carefully. You can see how it looks different. When you are done for the day, part of cleanup is to take all this dusty stuff and go and put it into a garbage so that it doesn't stay in the room or get on the tables or get breathed in. So make sure all this stuff does not get on the table. You wipe it all into the garbage, into a little garbage cup or bowl, and then into the garbage can.